I'm about to play something that I know you've heard before. But at this point in our nation's history, I think it's important for us to listen to these words again.
So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
If you're like me, you've lived most of your life not understanding what those words meant. Up until a few years ago, I just thought that FDR was making a tautological statement that sounded cool but really didn't mean that much. Recent history has taught me, and I hope it's taught you, that FDR was right. In times of great national and international insecurity, fear is the primary thing that needs to be kept in check. Because fear, more than anything else, fuels the cancers that plague our society. And if you listen to the media and to the major political parties, there is so much to be afraid of. We should be afraid of losing rights that are so important to so many of us. We should be afraid of people who are different, people who don't conform to societal norms. We should be afraid of too many outsiders coming into the country. We should be afraid of too few outsiders coming into the country. We should fear police power. We should fear a lack of police power. We should fear a government that does not embrace God. We should fear a government that embraces God. We should fear right-wing dictators. We should fear left-wing dictators. We should fear a disease. We should fear the cure of the disease. We should fear anarchy on the left. We should fear anarchy on the right. We should fear environmental insecurity. We should fear economic insecurity. We should fear foreign leaders who don't play by the rules. We should fear domestic leaders who don't play by the rules. We should fear war. We should fear that the sacrifices of war will be in vain. You should fear conspiracies. You should fear universities. It doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you occupy. It seems as though we are all surrounded by fear, regardless of how many fears are real or imagined. This fear, this cancer, will consume us unless we respond to it appropriately. In response to this fear, we cannot simply cower. We cannot simply hide behind walls and barriers. We cannot think that these threats will disappear simply if we insulate ourselves from them. In response to this fear, we cannot react with paranoia. The paranoid person sees everything as a threat. The paranoid person would rather destroy an ally than work with that ally. So what is the appropriate response to fear? The only appropriate response to fear is courage. We all need the courage to confront the fears that plague our nation, the courage to take action and to implement those ideals that are so important to you and that you want to see reflected in our country. Some of the fears that FDR referred to in 1933 are very similar to the fears that we confront today. In 1933, political extremism was on the rise. A certain someone had just come to power in a certain country. In 1933, the United States was also in the grips of economic turmoil. Turmoil that we had not seen before and that we have not seen since. And when FDR challenged us to confront our fears, we reacted with courage. We had the courage to unite and to defeat the fear of political extremism. We had the courage to unite and to defeat the fear of economic insecurity. It is that same courage we need today. And this week, on Election Day, on Tuesday, that courage calls upon you to get out and vote. If democracy is going to work properly, you need to have the courage to participate in democracy. Do not let anyone inhibit the exercise of your vote. Do not let anyone dissuade you from voting. Do not let circumstances prevent you from voting. Vote with the courage of your convictions. Vote with the faith that our country still has the capacity to evolve into a more perfect union.